Okay, so now we've just argued that the selectivity of that little dot, at least, must be due to experience. It doesn't tell us about the others, but tells us that one must be. And now we're asking, can its selectivity, can that location be determined by the connectivity of that region? Okay. So to get to that, we use diffusion tractography. And the hypothesis here is that it's these long-range connections that determine where those functional regions land. Okay, this is me with a bunch of functional regions in my head. Okay, doesn't matter which ones, we're just asking the general question. Okay, and so I'm going to skip over all the details, but just give you the gist of a recent paper that we published looking at this. We found the visual word form area, that's right down in there, about there, left hemisphere, we scanned kids at age 8 and age 5, same kids. Age 5, then age 8. Here's the age 8 data. These kids have learned to read in between the two scans. And here is the response of their visual word form area to words, faces, objects, and scrambled objects. Nice and selective, okay? Just like a good visual word form area should respond, okay? So it's there by age 8. What we then do is we take the data in the same kid across those 3 years, align the data, and say, what were those voxels doing in that kid at age 5 before they learned to read? Okay, this is another way of showing that it's experience that was necessary. And boom, they were not word selective. They shouldn't be. These kids hadn't learned to read yet. Okay, but still kind of nice to be able to show that. All right? But now the hypothesis is that it's the connectivity at age 5 that predicts where this region is going to land. So we use that same rigmarole that I showed you earlier for adults, where we used just diffusion data to predict where the functional region will arise. But we used the diffusion data from 5-year-olds to predict where that region would arise when the kids were 8. And it turns out you can do that. You can predict actually fine-grained individual differences in exactly where the visual word form area will arise at age 8 from that same kid's connectivity at age 5. Okay? So does everybody see how that fits one of the necessary conditions for this idea that the locations where these things land later in development is determined by connectivity that exists before? Now, our study was done in humans, so we didn't have a causal test. All we could say is it was there before and it's sufficient, but we don't know if that's actually how it worked. That's how it is working on humans. But if you put it together with the ferret data, it's pretty suggestive. All right? Yeah.
Where is it connected to?
Very good question. Okay, I'm being very vague. Connectivity. This is a long, complicated issue. Most likely, it's connected to languagey areas, which we'll talk about in a month or so, that are out on the lateral surface and up in the frontal lobe. There are papers claiming that it's connected to languagey areas, but I'm kind of a methodological hard ass, and I don't quite believe those data. I mean, I think they have a medium case, but they haven't nailed it. I've tried to nail it. It's hard for all of the reasons that this method that I was complaining about. I'm complaining about it because I'm bitter about it. I want this method to be better. I want to know what those actual structural connections are. I wish we could put a seed in the visual word form area and follow those tracks and say not just there's enough of a fingerprint that we can predict its function, but here are the exact functions, the exact connections. And it's not quite up to that task in my view. Okay? It's a big bummer. I've wasted a lot of the last year trying to get that method to work, and I haven't quite given up yet, but I'm close. It's okay. It's just not good enough to answer those questions, which is very frustrating because they're pressing questions. Yeah. Yeah.
So people who are blind shouldn't have this region active.
Ooh, very interesting question. What do you think? People who are blind read. What do you think?
So the connection between here and the visual system for the blind people goes from that region and touching sensory. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not obvious. There are several papers, which I was going to put in this lecture and I just couldn't fit, but there's several papers that argue that tactile braille reading in congenitally blind people activates that same region. Okay, they're pretty good papers. I sort of believe it. I have, as I say, I'm a little bit of a hard ass, so I'm not 100% convinced, but they're pretty compelling, and it's a very interesting question. And it's a whole saga. It's so interesting. I'm going to try to incorporate more of this in a later lecture because I didn't fit it in here. Yeah. And the idea would be, if you had to guess, what would those connections be that drive that? Certainly not visual input. They're not getting visual input. So it would have to be input from languagey regions or something like that that would also be present in blind people. See what I mean? Okay. All right. Anyway, all of this just to say that it looks like the visual word form area is kind of special in the human brain because, one, it shows us that at least one region gets its selectivity from experience, and two, because it develops later, it gave us this opportunity to ask if the connectivity was present before the function as a kind of sort of weak test of this hypothesis that connectivity determines function.